After doing a deep dive onto what causes the confusion between a tea and a tisane, I think I now know what the main reasons people get really confused about this are. This is a little bit matrix mind-bendy, so stick with me, it'll make sense in the end. First, there's the official textbook definition of a tea versus a tisane. So tea is officially any of the brewed drinks that comes from the Camellia sinensis plant. So you would logically think that means everything else is a tisane, right? Yes and no. The tea definition doesn't include other members of the Camellia family that are brewed just the same way as Camellia sinensis is. More on that in just a little bit, but tisane by definition is an infusion, as of dried herbs, used as a beverage or for medicinal effects. I would say thank you Merriam-Webster for your definition, but really I looked at like 4 or 5 different dictionaries and they all really said the same thing. The historical use of tisane meant just herbal teas, not all of the other parts of the plant that are in this weird amalgamated middle ground that aren't really classified properly. Teapedia is also a bit imprecise in its definition in this regard, as it says tisanes can be an infusion or decoction of herbs, spices, or other plant material. But then they don't go in to clarify what they mean by other plant material. To extend on this, according to all the other definitions I found on a tisane, this does include the flowers, fruits, and other fun parts of a plant. So it does mean all of the plant materials or tree materials. Any plant it includes should be considered a tisane other than Camellia sinensis. So this should help give a little bit of clarity, but this stays confused because pretty much everybody out there who isn't aware of the differences still calls any tisane tea. So if you bother to confront any member of the general public about this, they can often get affronted or very perplexed as to why tisanes even exist. Or for those who do use the word tisane, they will often only use it in terms of medical use, not in general use. The next major point of contention is that tea is always caffeinated, while tisanes are not. This isn't exactly true either. Again, this is where the proper definitions in general public use comes into play, because people forget about all of these things, which include yerba mate, cocoa, and coffee. I have been waiting for this one. Coffee, the mother of all conundrums. There is this whole other dark abyss of debate as to whether coffee is a tisane at all. You're going to find that most people say that coffee is in fact not a tisane. However, there are proponents out there who don't just call it coffee or tisane, they call it coffee tea. They're out there. It's true. So here's where it really comes down to. Coffee is in fact a fruit, and the beans inside that you use for coffee are in fact seeds. And all fruits and seeds are technically considered to be tisanes. So you tell me, how is coffee not a tisane? Mind-bendy point number 3 is how teas and tisanes are made. Tea is essentially made with a multi-step withering, rolling, oxidizing, and drying method. Tisanes, on the other hand, can be picked, washed just so you're safe, and then just brew it. Or in many cases, you pick it, clean it, dry it, and then you boil it underwater. And just in case this also confuses you a little bit, anytime you brew a plant in water, that's an infusion. Whereas if you boil various plant materials in water to release essential oils and minerals, that's a decoction. So that brings me back to all of these other Camellia family varietals that people often use the exact same methodology that you would use to brew Camellia sinensis tea. But according to the textbooks, these are actually tisanes. So it really seems to me that you need to expand the definition of what a tea is and a tisane is one way or the other. And then also make sure the general populace is aware of that so they use it properly. I would think that for tea, it should just be anything from the Camellia family of herbs. Period. That's tea. Now, as far as the tisanes, it would seem to me that you need to make everybody comfortable with the fact that you need to call anything that isn't from the Camellia family of plants a tisane. Or are you going to start getting into the problem of creating another term entirely for all the other plants? I mean, people out there already just consider coffee its own thing, right? When in fact it is, like I've shown, a tisane. But if we're really trying to clarify a tea versus a tisane and stick with that, anything else is just going to cause linguistic nightmares and trouble. And most people, as it is, don't actually use tisanes. So let's not go down that road. Go ahead and let me know in the comments if you've hopefully got some clarity out of everything I've talked about. And watch one of these less confusing videos next. Please, be kind, take care of each other, and hopefully you're not too lost by the tea versus tisane interminable semantic quagmire.
You know, you can say it backwards, which is docious ali expiistic fragicali rufus, but that's going a bit too far, don't you think?
Indubitably.